Welcome, everyone. We are back here, All Angles Sports Investment, with myself, Steve Wyss, and Ashley Waite. It's been a little bit of a break. Sorry, we were not around for the weekend show. My apologies, actually, because I've had a lot of shit I've been dealing with at home, which unfortunately life can sometimes get in the way. But Ashley has been very patient with me, and we are back now to do several live shows this week because we come out for the big games, the big Champions League games, Europa League, and all that sort of thing. So, Ashley, I hope you've been keeping well. How's things been going with you?
Yeah, been going well. Just my life revolving around this. So, the ups and downs. I lose my temper and throw things, especially my phone, daily the last few days with all of these crazy results not matching the metrics. Everyone knows I'm a metrics person, and we were having like Bodo with 30,000 shots and not scoring till the second half. But yeah, just trying to trudge through these weird results. Been profitable 17 of 21 days, I think so. Slight loss today, but yeah, rocking and rolling, being consistent. So, yeah, this is pretty much what I do with my life. This is what you see is what you get. This is all I do. So it's good.
Yeah, I know you had a bad day on Saturday, and I have to give you credit for actually posting that. Like, seriously, a lot of people don't own up to their losses on the tipping platform or their frauds. So I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, fair play. The balls that you have, probably bigger balls than me. I would have not swept it under the carpet, but I might have just said something like, "It wasn't a good day. We'll move on." But you're there with exact figures and everything. Fair play to you there. Quadro Apare, hello to you. Jao, hello to you as well. Good night.
You tried to go for the last name and you're like, fuck that.
You're absolutely, yeah, you're
Joao
right.
Paulo. Well,
I didn't want to butcher a last name, so yeah, you know me too well, actually, already.
I tried to see you tried to sweep that one under the rug, but I caught it. Quadro, welcome.
Welcoming everyone, and if you are watching live on Twitter, then do come in watch it on YouTube instead. Then you can comment as well. So
Yeah, and if you guys
always a
would
good
please
idea.
do us a favor, we're gonna keep doing this for a long time. Tons of shows giving you guys free content. We have, we win more than we lose. So just do us a small favor of subscribing to the channel on YouTube. It really, really helps us a lot, and liking the videos, and even comment. Give us your picks if what you agree with, what you disagree with, or just tell us to fuck off or whatever. Just like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and we will greatly appreciate it. And that'll help us just to keep doing these shows for you guys as long as we can.
We will endeavor to do as many free shows as is physically, well, it's possible and realistic for us. The subscription service, premium service, will be starting up very soon. It would have already started if I had not had certain shit to deal with at home. But that is going to be very close soon. I do know we've had quite a few questions asked about that. It is very, very close for this winning partnership between myself and you, Ashley. I'm very excited about this business endeavor that we are doing. But of course, there always will be free content because we know that there's a good mix out there for people. And as I say, this week we're hoping to do 3 shows focusing on the Champions League, Europa League, and anything else that might be going on in terms of big games, because we're at the semi-final stage. We're at the Champions League and Europa League. I know there's a lot of casual bettors that watch. These sometimes are the only games that people watch, and they fancy having a bet in them. That's what we're here to do, to supply little bits of advice here and there, and all that lot. Jao. Well, there you go.
Yeah, Gerard doesn't mind. He doesn't mind you butchering his last name because apparently you make him profit in your league selection. So there you go. You can get away. I guess you can get away with things as long as you give winners.
I presume that is from the Bet Rivers show I do, but I have to say, my partner on that show this year, James Easton, has been doing very well. He's actually been doing slightly better than me. So you could say I'm very good about which partners I choose, right, Ashley? Wink, wink.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, I'm on that list.
Absolutely, Ashley. I'm not. I'm very fortunate to be paired with certain people, you included. So
I appreciate that.
Let's get into the action anyway. If you're watching live or if you're watching on repeat, Real Madrid against Manchester City, first leg here at Bernabeu Stadium. And I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than this, does it? I think there's a lot of people who would expect whoever comes through this tie will win the final. And you can't really argue too much about that. You know, anything can happen in a final. The two Milan teams have got a great history, but really, Real Madrid and Manchester City are a different class compared to them too. So, yeah, maybe this is the final. We don't know. Last year, Real Madrid got the better of them over the two legs. Will Manchester City get their revenge this time? First leg odds, Real Madrid plus 235 on the money line. Home against Man City. Man City and plus 125. The draw or the tie is at plus 274. I don't think you'll ever get Real Madrid such a big price at home against anyone, right? All season to win a game of football. I mean, that does strike out to me a little bit as an interesting price. But first of all, give me your overall thoughts over the tie over two legs. Who's going to go through? And then this first leg at Bernabeu, how you see it going?
Well, I'm going to take the coward's way out. So I'm just going to take these matches one at a time. I'm not going to have, I'm not going to play either to advance. Although if I had to, obviously you guys know me, I'm all about value. And to me, like you said, that you're rarely going to find a price that big on Real Madrid. I think this price is a little bit disrespectful to them. And I don't think it's just, because I think they're, absolutely going to win, but the defending champions at home, I know this Man City team is, like you and I were talking about before the show, they are a machine, but Real Madrid has, they're in great form right now. I would give them the edge a little bit defensively. I don't think either of these teams are fantastic defensive wise, which is going to lend itself to what, my pick is going to be that we'll get into in a little bit. But getting that huge plus money on Madrid to advance. If I had to take one, I would take that. There's no way I would lay a -2, whatever it is, 200 something for anyone to advance against the defending champs. So, and also though you're rarely going to find a price that's plus money for Man City just to win. So, as far as what I think, these teams are pretty evenly matched. I think the public is going to be all over Man City. And so that makes me a little hesitant, right? I'm not going to go for a side, as you guys are going to see. I don't think there's much splitting this team. I think I think they're equally talented, and so if you're going to give me a bigger price on teams that I think are kind of a coin flip, I'm going to go with the value every time.
I'm starting to think this is going to be Man City's year. And I think they might win the treble, the same treble that Man United won in 1999. And people are only just starting to talk about it probably in the last 2 or 3, 4 weeks, because for most of the season it looked like Arsenal are going to win the Premier League. They still might, but it looks to me like City now. I mean, City can even drop points in the Premier League and still win that title now. They're in the FA Cup final against Manchester United, which anything can happen in a final, but you would certainly have them favourites to win that. And then it comes down, I think this is the biggest obstacle for Man City to win the treble now. 2 legs against Real Madrid, who last year, I'm not saying they had their number because it took them extra time, didn't it, to prevail. And City very nearly knocked them out. But they are just on an absolute tear, Manchester City, at the moment. They seem like a total machine. I mean, just looking at their results, it's an unbelievable set of results that they've had since the start of February in all comps. I mean, they've hardly dropped any points against anyone, really. I think they're going to win the first leg, to be honest, here at the Bernabeu. I think they're going to put on a show. And I was really tempted, actually, to take them on a -1/4 handicap. I don't see them losing the first leg, but it could be a draw. And there's a rule, isn't there? Real Madrid, don't bet against Real Madrid in the Champions League because bad things happen to you in recent years if that happens. So right. I think I just think they're playing amazing football at the moment. They really are in great form, and they're capable of coming here and smashing Real, really, in my opinion, if things click.
Yeah, that might be going a little bit far. So Man City are playing really well. for me, taking their team total just over 1.5 as a piece on a double, that's just become an auto bet for me. So I trust them each match to just get me at least 2 goals, and I don't care what else happens. But being on the road, I think that there is something to this Madrid crowd. I think that Man City goes in there and plays well. I don't think that, but I don't see, like you're saying, smash. I don't think either side really is going to smash the other. I think both of these teams have fantastic strikers. I expect Benzema, Vinicius, Holland. I expect both teams to play really well. So I'm not saying one can't smash the other, but I would be surprised. I do expect goals, but I expect this to be a hard-fought match. I'm hoping, as you'll see, like with my pick, that they kind of go at it early, right? And I think if it's like halftime draw or something, then it might just be where they fight it out just to hold a draw. But I think they kind of, maybe we see fireworks early in this one, and hopefully we get an early goal and kind of get things cracking along. That's what I'm hoping for, and I think both teams have the firepower and the lackluster defenses for that to happen.
Yeah, so I've pulled out of the -1/4 handicap on Manchester City. I personally think you could do an awful lot worse than that, but I will give Real Madrid that respect that they have earned over the last few seasons in Europe. It's not usually a good idea to bet against them. They have a knack of getting a result when they need one. Russell Scott Sibley has just tweeted at me, and he's probably watching live on Twitter. Maybe I like Benzema anytime goal scorer, says Russell Scott Sibley. Interesting line of attack there. You certainly wouldn't rule out Benzema in a big game like this. Let's talk about some of the picks that we've got. I've got a bet builder coming up later, a 5-legger, a 5-way. You've got a couple of more straightforward selections. Actually, we'll start with this one here, and I will break down the abbreviations for those who need it said. So this is a combined bet. It's a bet builder, whatever you want to say. Same game parlay. We need a first half goal at either end, and we need both teams to score in the match. That's at +120, Ashley. Right. So talk us through this.
Yeah, so these are just teams that in their league play, I take individually, right? I wait and watch the live metrics because both of these teams typically score right about half of their goals in the first half. And like I was alluding to earlier, I think that I can see Man City with the form they're in and their attacking prowess, maybe going forward early, trying to control the ball. But what they are susceptible to, which is also what I was alluding to earlier, they are playing against a team here that I think is has a bit more experience and maybe even talent than people are giving them credit for, which sounds crazy because they're the defending champs, right? So I think that I could see either team scoring in the first half, but I do think that they go at each other. I could see Man City kind of playing open, and then there are not too many teams as deadly on the counter as either of these teams. But you definitely have to put Real Madrid in the mix with that, right? I mean, Man City can go at them, and they leave any space, and Real Madrid will catch them on the counter. So I'm just going to say that one of these teams finds a way to break the other one down in the first half to try to get the upper hand in this match. And that happens. I think that it becomes an open match that I'm wanting and that I'm expecting. I don't think either defense shuts the other one out here. So it does not matter to me with this bet who wins. As a Madrid fan, I'm pulling for them, but I don't see either team getting shut out. I would be very surprised. So really the quirky part to this one, both teams to score by itself, I think it's around -170. So the books are obviously expecting that to happen. But yeah, so the trick to this will be obviously in the first 45 minutes and plus stoppage, right? You have to, both of these teams have to start and they have to be cracking right along. And I'm going to take the gamble that they will and that we do get a first half goal. And then as long as, both teams net by the end of regulation, then we win, and it's plus money, which I think is fantastic value.
Yeah, both teams to score on its own. The best price you can get on that is at -159. That is at Unibet. You got Bet Victor as as short as -200 for both teams to score.
Right.
But if you do take this, as I say, same game parlay, Bet Builder, a first half goal in addition to both teams scoring in the match overall. I mean, hopefully it's won by half time, this pick, but it might
That would be
potentially take.
nice.
It could take until stoppage time of the second half. Who knows? As long as the winner's a winner, but plus 120 looks like a decent enough price, really, doesn't it? In that respect, I just want to talk about the referee before. I know a lot do watch these shows with my takes on the referee. I did my research into him. It's a Portuguese referee, which already it's difficult to judge Portuguese refs because the league in Portugal, there's so many cards are dished. It's incredible. So it's so hard to compare those referees when they start to do the big European games. I've also got a problem with both of these teams. They're quite clean in general. They keep their discipline quite well. Man City only average like 1.2 cards in a match. We are at the semi-finals of the Champions League. No one can get suspended now for the final on yellow cards, but obviously red cards, you could end up being in trouble. So the card line, I'm just not interested in this game. I'm far more interested in the Milan derby for cards tomorrow. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. So I thought I would mention that because I know a lot do like to talk about it. You've got a second pick for the game, another plus money pick, certainly offering some decent value on this show tonight, Ashley.
That's what I do. Y'all know I love my plus money plays.
I'm going to put it up on the screen now. I just got it wrong. There we go. Vinicius Jr. to score or assist in the game at plus 160. That does look a big price, I must say, for a dual threat of him.
Yes, and you hit it on the head, dual threat. So I was kind of going back and forth between this. You can actually get a really, really fantastic price for Benzema to score or assist, but you're laying a little bit. Still a good price, minus 120. So I definitely wouldn't fault anyone for taking that because these two kind of play hand in hand for me. Benzema, it's not like he doesn't assist. He does. But I think both of these guys are more than capable of scoring. Vinicius Jr. just has that knack for finding open spaces and finding Benzema. So I think he's a little bit then we're just getting more value on the assist angle here. So I think, Vinny either scores or he assists Benzema and vice versa. So I think these players just play off of each other. But so if you tell me that they're both capable of scoring, but I think Vinny has the edge a little bit in the assist category, you're going to give me a minus 120 price versus plus 160. I'm all over this play. Like I said, I think both teams score, and I don't know the exact statistics, but you guys know it's extremely high that if Madrid score, that Vinicius Jr. is involved in some capacity. He's either scoring it or he's assisting Benzema. So at plus 160, you guys know I like those kind that it is great value. It makes sense. The situation, the scenario makes sense. His ability makes sense. The way that they're playing, everything about it. This price surprised me. I would play this at even money and possibly, what they're charging for Benzema at the minus 120. So there's no way I'm passing on this value. I think Madrid score, and I think if they do, I think he's involved in some capacity.
I was thinking that actually. About even money feels more of a fair price, even lower.
Oh, yeah.
Normally, his odds on here, we can only get this price because Real Madrid are a plus, 250 underdog at home on the money line. That's the only reason we can get this price. But Man City, they actually don't keep that many clean sheets.
No, they don't.
It's interesting. They do tend to ship one goal in most games. I know in Fantasy Premier League, Ederson, the goalkeeper, is a nightmare for owners of him because he always seems to concede a cheap goal somewhere. In that match against Bayern Munich first leg, I thought he had a great game, actually, Ederson. Otherwise, Bayern definitely would have scored in that. They did in the reverse match.
Right.
So, I think he's only this price because of the money line odds, but they don't factor that in always, the books, when they can consider the goal scorer. So this looks a great. I think it's a great value pick. Scorer assist Vinicius Jr. Beetle Bailey says he's loving this play. I think that was maybe the previous play, but I'm sure he loves this one as well. Ashley, who wouldn't? So
Right, I'm
Beetle
sure he
welcome in.
does. Beetle's a smart guy, so
He is.
probably, yeah. He was referencing the first one, but yeah, all of the these go hand in hand. So if we end up with a 0-0 draw, not only is it just going to be a boring affair, but my bets are going to go bust. As you can see, my picks here are leaning towards goals being scored in this match.
Yeah, so I have got now a bet builder. The last time the Real Madrid played at home in the Champions League, my 4-way dirty bet builder, whatever you want to call it, did cash. So I'm going to try and make this a bit of a tradition now, certainly Real Madrid games. I've gone one step further here on a bet builder 5-legger. I'm going to bring it up on the screen now. It's actually at Bet365 over in the UK. 5 selections in this bet builder. Erling Braut Haaland over 0.5 shots on target. Same for Benzema. Over 1 goal in the game, so I need 2 or more goals. And then I'm just having Federico Valverde and Ilkay Gundogan over to have at least 1 shot each in the game. Of course, it will be Opta who decide those metrics. But brief reasoning, Braut Haaland and Benzema, look, they're the obvious goal-scoring threat for both sides. If they can't at least hit the target once in this game, you know, in your words, they want shooting, really, don't they? It's not acceptable for the main striker not to have a shot on target in this game. I do like at least 2 goals here, Ashley. I must say, I like both teams to score as well.
So I hope so.
That makes sense to me. And then Valverde actually averages about 2.4 shots a game, both in Champions League and in La Liga. He goes under the radar, actually. He does like to try his efforts. I only need 1 shot from him, nothing else. Can be anything.
Right.
And Gundogan, probably the riskiest part of this bet builder, I must say, because he sometimes does just sit back. But he scored twice against Leeds. His tail is up. I don't think he's going to be on the penalties here, unfortunately. But he actually pops up with headers as well, Gundogan, sometimes. Just need 1 attempt from him from midfield. I think his confidence will be up. And you might want to prove a point even after that missed penalty. Plus 200 on this bet builder. So I think it's not a bad shout, you know.
No.
5-leg. The last time I did this, it worked out nicely. I don't think I'm asking an awful lot. I mean, really, unless like there's a really bad 0-0 here or 1-0, I really think this comes in.
Yeah, I like it. And Valverde, he's a fantastic selection. And I'm just going to pronounce the other guy the way I pronounce him, Gundogan. That's how I've always heard it said. So, yeah. What I like about that, too, is, like I said, I'm expecting shots and kind of fireworks. So when you have, you know, Man City kind of concentrating on Benzema and maybe trying to make him as much of a non-factor as possible. And then you have the same deal with Madrid, right? They're going to take their star in Haaland and maybe try to, you know, contain him as much as they can. So what does that do? That leaves the supporting cast, the Valverdes and Gundogans, Kevin De Bruyne's, Vinny Jr.'s, right? It leaves them with more opportunities. So, yeah, and plus 200 is a crazy price. You're not asking for like 3 shots on target for any of these. If these stars can't get a shot on target, then this is just not going to be the match that I think me and pretty much everyone else are expecting.
Yeah, and this is a sort of game I think bet builders are going to be very, very popular overall. You know, as I say, people watch these games. Sometimes it's the only football they watch in the whole year. Right. You know, the big stages that we're interested in trying to get a bet builder. We're probably going to see like 50-1 bet builders floated around, players to get carded, things like that. You know, so I thought, let's just give someone a bit of plus 200 one there. So those are the only picks that we are going to have in the Real Madrid against Manchester City game. It wouldn't be an all angles show though without a bonus pick, and there is a couple of games on in Sweden, Allsvenskan, on Tuesday evening, and I do have a selection in one of the games. Now, it's not the most eye-catching match, Värnamo against Varberg, and I wouldn't actually recommend anyone watch this match, really. It is on 2 hours before the Champions League, so you could have it as your appetizer, but neither of these teams are particularly amazing to watch. But the pick I'm going with is Värnamo, the home team, on a money line handicap, Asian handicap -0.5, -114. and they have lost 4 out of 6 games this year. But Varberg are coming here really fragile. They just lost 6-0 at home against Malmo. They were 4-0 down after 15 minutes.
Oh yes, I was on Malmo in that one. That was beautiful.
Yes, I always have massive worries when a team just got beaten big. I think your confidence goes downhill. We saw Ham Cam got beat 7-3 in Norway recently, and they lost 4-0 again yesterday.
Yeah,
just these things go in cycles. They just, I can guarantee you, Varberg are coming on the field here thinking, not thinking about winning the game, not even maybe thinking about losing the game. They just don't want to get embarrassed again.
Yeah, trying to not get their asses beaten in front of everyone, probably.
Varberg, I've watched Varberg play. They're awful to watch. They're just a physical team. They offer very, very few goals. 3 goals in 6 games is all they've scored. They're bottom of the table. And Varnamo, they're not a bad team. They're quite a small club, but they do play some decent football. Lost 4 out of 6 games. They have played some tough teams. I think they're going to take advantage of this soft Varberg defense and get. It might only be like 1-0. It won't be a great game of football. But this is the one that stuck out. There's another game on. It's Hammarby against Mjällby. But Hammarby are not really playing very good football at the moment. So that is a match to avoid against a Mjällby team who are known for being quite defensive. So, this is the one that caught my eye. I don't think you'll be having too much interest in Allsvenskan for Tuesday, actually, unless the matches really start to go wild. I mean,
I'll just be doing my typical watching the metrics and seeing which matches I want to pull the trigger for there to be a first half goal. So Sweden, I'll just have to take your word on this one here, because there's a handful of teams I pay attention to, and neither one of these is one of them. But Elfsborg, Häcken, especially Häcken, that's a team I really love right now. But I mean, this was on what you said a couple of hours before the main course. So I mean, all I do all day long is bet. So I'll find something to throw at it.
Yeah, Varna, I watched them 2 or 3 rounds ago. They beat AIK 1-0, and they played pretty well, actually. They're not a bad team to watch. They lost then against Häcken 3-1, which I'm not going to hold them against that.
Yeah, there's no shame in that.
They did their most recent game. They did lose at home 1-0 to Bromma-Poikina, our good old favourite Bromma-Poikina.
You have to. You always have to slip that word in there.
But Bromma are actually now in form. They've actually kept 4 straight clean sheets. So I'm not sure that defeat is such a bad one either. Varberg, terrible team. I think 1-0 or 2-0 to Varnamo in this game. They've got a decent enough defense if they get themselves on top. So a little bonus play on the All Angles show here. But yeah, that's going to do it for this edition. I think we're going to be back again to talk about the Milan derby and any other matches that are on Wednesday that might catch your eye around the world. I don't think there's an awful lot else on from what I was seeing. I'm
actually going to be doing my main. I've already put these plays in that I just gave you guys for the show and posted that for my Patreon folks. But yeah, after the show is when I'll be sitting here with my Nitro Cold Brew and then going over the entire slate for tomorrow. So I'm sure something's going to jump out at me, as it always does.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Anyone who watched live, anyone watched on demand on repeat, we'll be back again to talk about the Milan derby, and also we'll be discussing the Europa League and Conference League heading into Thursday.
It wouldn't be a complete show if I didn't interrupt you, so you're welcome. There's no way with Beetle Bailey. I have to address that. Yeah, if this Man City match ends 0-0, he said he can expect a bag of dicks tweet from me. Oh yeah. If this ends 0-0, you can expect that, and then much, much, much more. Because wow, what a build up to this one. So what an anticlimactic disappointment that would be. So bags of dicks to be aplenty if these teams don't show up and show out. That's for sure.
Yeah, it would be disappointing, wouldn't it be a 0-0 draw? But yeah, thanks anyone who's been watching live. Quando, Beetle Bailey, Ciao Paolo, and anyone on demand as well. I'm sure some of you will be watching this in the morning over here in Europe and thinking, bloody hell, All Angles are back. what happened to you. So thank you very much. We'll be back again live tomorrow, similar time. AC Milan against Inter, and then following night looking into Europa League and Conference League semi-finals. DM Punk.
What's up, Punk? That's
All
my
right,
guy
mate.
there.
Yeah. Well, we'll sign off now. Best of luck, whatever you take in the Real Madrid game. I know everyone's going to have their eyes on it. Everyone's going to be betting on it in some form. It's just that sort of match, isn't it? But absolutely smash it to pieces, whatever line of attack you're going with. But from me, goodbye, take care. And from you, Ashley?
From me, it's let's get a first half early goal, and then both teams to smash it, and go Vinny Jr. Whoop some ass tomorrow. Let's hit these plus money plays, y'all.
See y'all.